Hi guys, Artiar here. So for this video, we'll be going through how to build your Ming Shuo. So Ming Shuo Esper here, it's been some time I actually made infographic guide because it took some time to actually create one, right? And then I think Ming Shuo Esper is pretty good for me to actually invest my time into making his infographic, because like the other Esper like Meta Yin Chuan, like Bidao, they don't really shine a lot, and I don't think a lot of players actually have interest on them, so I didn't make the infographic for them. Alright, so for Ming Shuo Esper guide here, as usual, I'll be going through the skill kit first, then I'll go through the equipment suggestion and stats to focus. So Ming Shuo is a fighter Esper that is a Shimmer type with a universal speed leader of 25%. This is the chibi version of icon, and this is me here, right? The simplified skill key, the S1 here called Thunder Spark, attacks one enemy, is pretty straightforward, and upon a crit, then the Sky Graph cooldown -1 turn. So this one will reduce his S3 damage. So his S1 here is just a pure damage to reduce your S3 cooldown. So your playstyle will be keep triggering the S1, and then like including relief set, including Artiar, including pursuit or assist, everything here will trigger this effect as long as it crits, and then it will reduce the S3 cooldown. Then your S2 Raging Sacrifice, you consume all your HP to gain the Thunderclap buff. It doesn't matter how many HP you consume. It doesn't matter like you consume 1k or you consume 10k or you consume 100k. It doesn't matter. You still get the Thunderclap buff as long as you cast your S2, and it doesn't matter how many consume HP. The crit damage here will give you 1.5% multiplier, basically 150% extra, but it won't give you another. It doesn't matter like how many HP you consume. Like let's say you consume when you're at max HP, and when you consume when your HP left like 1 HP, it doesn't matter. It will still boost your crit damage by 1.5%. I don't know the calculation is after your total crit damage times 1.5% or your base crit damage times 1.5%. I have no idea about this part, but what I tested is the consume HP doesn't matter with your crit damage. So you can just build him with as low HP as possible. It doesn't matter because you're gonna consume your S2 anyway, and you're gonna get Thunderclap. Then this ability cooldown is not affected by anything, which means no matter if you're wearing Ocean Wave or not, no matter if your other Esper trying to cooldown reset your S2, it won't matter because it won't affect by anything. Then S3 here is a very straightforward attack. Attack all enemy is an AoE skill, and then attack 3 hit. So it's a very pure DPS Esper. He mainly rely on S1 to reduce his S3 cooldown. His S3 is the main DPS output, and then S2 here is to make him survive. As long as he have the Thunderclap, he won't die, and then you increase your crit damage buff, and then it will give you a certain buff as well for the Thunderclap. And not just that, he have 2 passive in his kit. So passive 1, if Ming Shuo have accentuated buff, which is the buff provided by Lu Shang. So if you pair him with Lu Shang, then you can trigger this passive 1 buff. So if he have accentuated and he actually die, then when he revive, then he will trigger the his S2 skill instantly. So if you have Lu Shang in the team, he get accentuated, and then if he die, and then let's say you have Yi Jing to revive him, then he will because when you revive him, your Lu Shang is on the battle, and then he have accentuated, then he will cast S2 instantly. No matter the S2 is already on cooldown or not, it will cast the S2 for free. Then passive 2, after each Ming Shuo action, ignores 15% of the enemy defense while he is dealing damage up to 15%, which means if you can actually make Ming Shuo do 5 action before any enemy take their active turn, you can ignore their defense of 75%. This can further increase when he get until R1. So this buff here will also get triggered by relief set or Artiar or pursuit or assist, because this kind of buff, from what I tested, as long as it's an action from him, it doesn't have to be active turn. As long as it's an action, let me reduce myself. I'm taking too much space. Okay, as long as it's an action, then you will get this defense ignore 15%. So if you do 5 action, including Avatara trigger, including relief set, including like Chuyao assist, then it will ignore the defense up to 75%, but it will instantly get resetted when any enemy get their active turn. So just consider this as a bonus. It's not something you should actually rely on it. But if you actually reach to R1 and you manage to trigger 5 hit, then you are actually dealing true damage because it's 100% damage ignore, while your damage is going to be very high due to the crit damage buff. Okay, then for Thunderclap buff here, it's an undispellable buff. It's because it's a golden realm buff, and then it cannot be blocked by buff blocker as well because it's a golden realm buff. So basically, this is a buff that is an invincibility that cannot be dispelled, and it will immune to certain stuff like let's say attack down, speed down, all those stuff, and it will also gain buff. So what he provides is it will increase your crit damage multiplier by 1.5%, which is here. And then it will also increase your speed currently plus 300% to make you, if your Ming Shuo is built like freaking fast speed, then he'll instantly get like the fastest speed in the game and instantly just zoom, which I don't really recommend because I would want him to be slower to have his Thunderclap state as long as possible, but depends on your own playstyle, right? And then he'll immune to attack down, speed down, crit rate down, and attack AP down effect. So it will not immune to, let's say, like defense break, AP swap, crit damage down, all this kind of, as long as not these 4 buff, this 4 debuff, it will still get affected. Then you immune to ability damage, which is basically undead, like invincibility. That's why they mention here, this buff here will replace the invincibility for the same number of turns in non-PvP battles, something like that. Okay, then for equipment suggestion, so for PvP wise, I would recommend more about Thunder set and Wind set, because Thunder set is for all out DPS, right? And then for Wind set, it depends if you want to build a Ming Shuo like really fast to cast your S2 as soon as possible, then you should go for Wind set or something. Or you want to cast your S2 manually, then you're gonna go for S2. But personally, I prefer Thunder set because I build my Ming Shuo very slow, and then I'll trigger my S2 by reviving him with my Yujing, because Yujing can revive, right? And then Lu Shang is in the team as well, something like that. So it really depends on if you want to build your Ming Shuo speedy or not. Personally, for me, I don't build him speedy. Then for PvE wise, you can also build Thunder or Wind, just that maybe in PvE, Astro and Relief set is more better. So let's say in Dark Starlord, for example, if you can trigger his Relief set more often or make him assist a lot more often, like let's say Shenpin or Yuran or Chuyao, something like that, then the more S1 he casts, the more S3 he reduces as soon as possible, because upon a crit you reduce the cooldown. And then let's say you build your team with like Yujing or something like AP pushing, then you don't have to build him speed, then he can just already trigger a lot of the relief sets, because every relief set trigger will let him ignore the defense by 15%. So if you can let him trigger 5 times, then he can ignore defense 75% when he nuke with the S3. So relief set might be the very best choice for PvE, or maybe Thunder set, depends, right? And then for 2P set here is Avatara and Fairy set, but in my opinion, Avatara will be the best because Avatara can let him reduce his cooldown from his S1, and because Avatara will also trigger his passive 2 to increase his ignore defense. So basically, best set I would say is either Thunder with Avatara or maybe Release set with Avatara. Wind set really depends if you want your Ming Shuo to be fast. Then for stats to focus, it's just a very typical DPS build. It's going to be crit damage equals to crit rate. Then it's more important than attack and more important than speed. HP, defense, accuracy, resist doesn't matter at all because he doesn't provide any debuff. There's no red color here. He doesn't need resistance, he doesn't need HP and defense because he's very squishy. So he need to cast his S2, and when he have his S2 and as long as he have Thunderclap, he won't actually die. So you don't have to matter about his HP and defense. So only that 4 stats you should actually matter on, and speed really depends on yourself. Depends if you want to build him fast or if you want to build him slow. Personally, for me, I build him slow. Then for Rezo, R1 is your damage ignore can up to max limit of 100%, and every time you increase, it's no longer 15%, it's going to be 20%. So as usual, it's still going to trigger 5 times, just that you can actually damage defend ignore up to 100%. Then R4 here, instead of 2 turns of Thunderclap, you're going to get 3 turns of Thunderclap, which means you are able to have your Ming Shuo very safely for 3 turns if you make him to R4. Then R6 here, your damage boost, this one here, the crit damage boost from 1.5 times will increase up to double, become 2.0 times. So value wise, R0 is actually all you need to actually play him, but the more reso you get, the more stats you get. And then R1 extra damage, you know, is good. R4 one more turn invincibility turn is good. I would say R4 is the most important reso for him. And then R6 extra another like 50% crit damage, I think. So basically and he's a free Shimmer Esper, so basically it's a very easy to get, not very easy, like it's very worth to get. You don't have to worry like you're wasting your stamina or resources. And this is a free Shimmer Esper that is permanently in the game. As long as you clear Everett and then you start doing for his fusion mission, you start grinding for the main wave, all those stuff, then you can get him up to R6. It's totally a free Esper, and he is a very strong fighter Esper as well. Okay, then for Ming Shuo wise, my Ming Shuo is still currently at R0 when I record this video. There's no Divinate for him yet because I'm out of the Divinate summon. So my stats might look lower because I don't have the Divinate, right? But I don't think his Divinate effect is that important. It's more important about his stats, but the effect wise, I don't think it's that important. So I'm not rushing for him, and because like in PvE situation, I have like a lot more other Esper that have high reso and high divinate, so I can't really use Ming Shuo to replace them at the moment. So I would only make more showcase or more stuff on him when he get higher reso. At least for now, R0, D0, I'll just keep him for now, but this is the equipment I'm going for him. Thunder set and Avatar set, like I mentioned, I'm building him very slow because I want to pair him with Yujing, and Yujing will revive him anyway. So let's say Yujing passive, right? Let's say I pair Yujing with him. Yujing can revive him because he's going to be so squishy, and then Yujing will provide the buff on him, and then Yujing will instantly revive Ming Shuo. Let me show you her passive. So passive here, the warm welcome, revive the carrier when they die, and 50% of the max HP, and it will always apply on the lowest max HP Esper. So as long as Yujing is alive and she don't die, basically Ming Shuo will always get protected by warm welcome, and every time he die, will get revived by warm welcome. And then because he revived, we instantly cast his S2 and let him able to start nuking. So I don't really care about his speed. I do care more about his crit rate to be 100%, very high crit damage and very high attack. So you can look at my equipment here. What I'm trying to do is mainly focus on attack, crit rate and crit damage. I don't really care about the speed. I don't really care with other stats as well, like defense bonus, all this stuff. I don't really care because he's very squishy. Okay, so this is the current equipment I'm going for. I might actually enhance him, depends like if I really like the speedy style, but at least for now, this is my Ming Shuo. And for PvE wise, I'm not really using him yet because my other team are a lot of R6. So if I really want to make Ming Shuo able to compete with my current Falsetto Fantasy team, for example, then I really need him to be high reso and high divinity to compete with my own Esper. Let's say R6 Slon, R6 Elite vs R0 Ming Shuo. It's not going to be fair, right? So I gotta wait for my Ming Shuo like his full potential first, then I will only able to like compare the DPS between like Slon, between like R6 Elite, between like R6 Embla, all those stuff. At least for now, I'm not able to compare about it. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed the video and see you guys in the next video. Bye bye. Special thanks for the direct support on the YouTube membership. So for the benefactor of Artiar, which is Gen MP, Yaki Shibatails, Kemi, thank you so much for your support. And for the supporter and patron of Artiar, which is Louis Schneider, Agni, Code Wardeners, Wang Tamer, Ziggy, Kamaruki, Sunwops, Rimu, Chorny, Von Hexa, Antonio Winterspoon, Marlene Williams, Eric Mendes, Ium Cragrin, Riku Fred X Iris, Calamity, Rocco Stenzions, thank you so much for your support. Special thanks for the direct support on the live stream super chat for the latest 10. Thank you so much for Code Wardeners, Calamity, Agni, Love Fatima, Fatima Little Underwear, Bloods, Riku Fred, Choni. Thank you so much for your support.